that would be a tremendous help. Let me know that we are live, will you? So I don't look like a total gumbean. I'm just going to go with the fact that we're live. And it is great to be with you. I woke up this morning thinking it was Wednesday. And it ain't Wednesday. It's Thursday. So happy Thursday to you and to yours. I hope you are thriving in the midst of our current climate and circumstances. So what I would love to talk to you about this morning is how to have a good fight. How to have a good fight. You know what else I'm wondering? How on earth I can find out for sure that this new software thingamajiggy is working and that we are actually in good shape. Let me know that. That's something I would love to know. I think I can maybe check here. Yes, I can. All right, so bear with me 1 second. Yep, we are live. Would you look at that? Fandabidozy. Okay, so let me get that off of there. And yay. Okay, I want to talk to you about how to have a good fight. How are you, Rebecca? Good morning. And others hopefully joining soon. Charles, top of the morning to you, bro. I want to talk to you about how to have a good fight this morning. We're using some new software, so I'm hoping it's working out okay. We're on Insta and Facebook and YouTube and LinkedIn and a couple others, I think, they tell me. So, how to have a good fight. I'm your Irish brother, and so it would stand to reason that I would be teaching you maybe how to have a good fight, how to have a clean fight. What does that look like, you know? And, you know, I think one of the biggest, you know, interesting points to note for me in the whole fighting arena is that that the lads, as in the men, want the facts, right? The lads want the facts so that they can fix. This is how I remember it kind of easily, right? The lads want the facts so they can fix. Just get to the bottom line, really. Just what I can do. We've been made, created, wired by our maker to have impact, to bring order out of chaos. And that's one of our primary callings and one of yes, Charles, from the left brain, right? One of the reasons that is so is that one of the reasons that is so is that my left brain went loopy. Oh, one of the reasons why that is so is that, well, we're wired that way, but actually no, the other thought was this. It's one of the ways that the enemy attacks us. Good morning, Alison, welcome. One of the ways the enemy attacks us is to help men, especially now. different attack, different arrow for the girls. One way that the enemy attacks us is by helping men believe that they're not up to the task. They're not up to be able to fix. They're not up to be able to heal. They're not up to, they don't have what it takes. They don't have the skill set. And he encourages us just to give it up as a bad job. That there's no way you're going to win with this girl. ... Am I the only one who's maybe battled with that? I have found over the years that I know I'm not the only one who's battled with that. And what's happened is the very same thing that happened in the garden. Passivity crept into the heart of man and has been there ever since. And if we're not careful, we'll listen to that voice. It's not the voice of your Father. So we want the facts so we can fix. Well, the ladies, they are not as interested in the facts. They want the report, right? They want all the details. All the details the girls want. So that they can experience rapport. Now here's what we're going to do. If you ever see me spelling anything on this board or any other board that doesn't quite seem like how you spell it in your world, we're just going to go with that must be how they spell it in Ireland, on his island. Okay? The lads want the facts so they can fix, and the girls want the report with all the details. What was she wearing? And was she having a good hair day? And was she angry, or was she just like monotone? Was she like was she pacing, or was she sitting down? Did she give you anything? All sorts of questions. I don't know. Was it a good hair day? I'm just glad I have hair. What? I don't know. It's important that we understand that we don't even have the same goals when we're coming into having a fight or just communicating kind of in generally, right? The lads want the bottom line. The girls want the details. Usually, right, these are generalities, yeah? Sometimes we don't even, have the same level. I mean, oftentimes I care about the same things. Let me ask you though, you might not be the norm, which means you are unique. So do you rather get all of the facts or just cut to the bottom line? Or do you want, no, tell me the story. I need the details because I've heard just the facts a few times and I've misinterpreted them. So which side of the fence do you come down on when you're in conversation generally? I dropped me top. I'm getting on to my son these days about putting his top back on his bottle, and his daddy's top fell off his bottle. So which do you fit into? Do you tend to fit into wanting all of the details, or just cut to the chase, cut to the bottom line? And so the first question is, how do we bridge that gap if there is a separation between our goals in communication, or even our goals when it comes to conflict, right? Let alone whether you like conflict or hate conflict. What is the answer to how we bridge that gap? How are you, Andy? What's the answer to how we bridge the gap between how lads are looking to get the facts so they can fix, and the girls are looking for the report with all the details so that they can experience rapport, relational connection, right? How do we bridge that gap? Great question. Great question. Thanks for asking that. First step is that you clarify the content. You clarify content. Make sure that what you're hearing is actually what they're putting down. Yeah? Make sure what you're hearing is what they are putting down. Now, it's so easy to misunderstand. Like, I speak Irish English. Debbie speaks American English. Besides the fact that she's female, and clearly, I hope it is clear that my Irish mug is male. And there's so many ways, even in helping people communicate for a living, that I hear incorrectly. And so to clarify the content is so important. It's so important. I was talking with a few people yesterday, actually, and I pop something on the screen. I'm going to pop it on here for you now. And I want you to tell me on the count of 3, when I put this in front of you, well, I'd have to probably write smaller if I'm going to fit the thing on here, okay? But I want you to tell me what you see on the count of 3. Are you ready? What do you see? For those of you on Instagram, you may have to read backwards, but I believe in you. So what is it that you see? On the count of 3, yes, it's backwards. Charles on Instagram, I can't do anything about that right now, I don't think. So tell me what, give it a go. What, write it in the chat area. What do you see? What is it saying? What is it saying? Have a go. I know, it looks like Chinese, doesn't it? Love it, love it, love it. Good guesses, good guesses, good guesses. Okay. Some of you said love is nowhere, and some of you said love is now here. Love is nowhere and love is now here. Well, for those of you who saw love is nowhere, that means your relationship is going into the tank. You're finished, you're done, give it up, it's not going to work. I'm only kidding. Probably that's not really appropriate for a relationship coach and counselor to kid about. If you saw love is nowhere, it doesn't mean anything. It just means that that's what your eyes saw. And frankly, that's how the letters are lined up. First, love is nowhere. But some of you saw love is now here. That doesn't necessarily mean you're in better health relationally than the people who saw love is nowhere. It just means that you can be looking at exactly the same thing and see 2 totally different things. Totally different things. And you will put your last dollar on the fact that you saw love is now here and not be open to the possibility that there's also something else going on in the midst of what's right there in front of you. So it's so important to clarify the content. So important. The second thing that you want to do, in having a good fight, right, is first of all understand where they're coming from, right? Where they're coming from. And actually, I have a different platform to help you even with where they're coming from, but I'll share more about that another day. And that is, are they in a wise headspace? Are they in a foolish headspace? Are they in an evil headspace? And that matters massively as to whether you're going to have even success in being able to have a successful conversation or a successful conflict or a good fight as well. But for now, just know, you're talking to a man, yeah, generally, he's looking for you to get to the bottom line, give you and if he wants more, he's usually going to ask for more. If you're talking to a lady, she is going to want to generally give you all the details, and so you want to keep that in mind. And secondly, you want to make sure that in bridging this gap, you want to clarify the content. And then, number 2, you want to reflect. Reflect the feelings. Oh, Daly, you did not just go to the feelings, did you? Already took you 5 minutes. Reflect the feelings, okay? Reflect the feelings. Look, there's a river of emotion flowing between you two. A river of emotion flowing between you two, right? Let me show you. A big river flowing between you two. And in that river, there are gold nuggets. And do you know what the gold is, lads and ladies? The gold is... the gold is the emotion. The gold is the emotion. And most of us don't even look for the gold. Most of us get stuck on the facts of what's going on. And can I tell you this? Here's a gold nugget for you. Can I tell you this? Larry, you're grand. You have no worries. The fight is never about the facts of the fight. The facts of the fight are important. The facts of the fight are involved. But the facts of the conflict are never what the conflict is about. The conflict is always about what's going on underneath the facts. What message is being sent to the other based upon what's happening up here on the surface. And most of us spend most of our time in conflict wasting our time talking about the details of the facts. Was it 4:15 or was it 4:30 when you walked in the door after promising to be home at 4 o'clock? And you will fight till the death until he or she says, well, okay, it must have been 4:20 then. Like that matters. That's not what the fight's about. Well, what's the fight about if it's not about what time I walked in the door? It's about dependability. It's about you keeping your word. It's about you saying that wherever else you were was more important than what time you committed to being present, being home, being participant in the things of home, let's say, if that's the environment in which we're talking about. That's underneath the details, the facts. You could press stop right now, check, turn me off right now. Go away, and in the next fight that you have, think about what's the message I'm sending to him or to her in the midst of the facts of the topic of this conversation. Clarify the content. Number 2, reflect the feelings. Look for the gold nuggets in the river in between you two. And lads, here's good news for you. The good news is that as you sift through the words and as you sift through the topics in the conflict or in the conversation, you don't even have to be correct in what you are guessing that they're feeling. You just have to be sincere. That sounds like you feel angry. That sounds like you feel hurt. This sounds like you are feeling stressed. Because, can I just say, whether it's a lad or whether it's a lady, they'll be pretty quick to say, no, I'm not angry. I'm just really let down, disappointed. And so like, I mean, cut to the chase. You get right there. And if you care at all about this other person, you want to help them with their emotion. Now, they're responsible for their emotions. You're not responsible for them. But if you love them, you care about them, then to communicate and to have a good fight, you want to look for the gold nugget. You want to look for the gold nugget. And have you ever been told, you just don't get it? You just don't get it, do you? Oh, man, that's horrible to hear that, isn't it? It's horrible to hear. If I never heard that a day again in my life, it'd be enough. Instead, yes, that's exactly how I feel. Yes, that is what is going on. That's where I'm at. And when you do that, yes, Charles, just like you're saying, man, when you do that, you validate them feeling how they're feeling. You communicate to them that you're in tune with them. You're not off somewhere else. Look in our check-ins with Kevin and you'll find a love tool that we've broken down, and it really talks about how on earth do I validate when I don't agree or don't understand. You can validate even when you don't agree and you don't understand. And when the person that you're fighting with or you're communicating with feels like you are listening, you are paying attention, you are even on different pages, but you're getting it, their spirit begins to open. And they believe that they can continue to move forward with you. Most of the time, we're listening. Well, you tell me, do most people listen to understand or do most people listen to respond? What do you think? Do most people listen to understand or do most people listen to respond? What would you say? I have nowhere to go. I know there's a little bit of delay on the software, but I'm believing. And it's early. The gang joins in later on. Oh, you know what, gang? I need to move. I only have 6% on my battery. Oh, no, I don't. I just need to plug into power. And hey, presto. Thank you, God, for giving me eyes to see. Ha ha! Man, don't you love seeing that battery charging again? Most people, Jeanette, you are correct. Listen to respond. They don't listen to understand. Gang, here's another nugget for you. I'm dropping Irish charms here. If you begin to be committed to listen to understand, my oh my, you will stand head and shoulders above the rest. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. And when you understand what the other person is feeling, it can make a massive difference. I mean, we are on the way. We're not like, it's not a done deal. Oh, he knows how I feel. All is well with the world. No. Safety is huge in conflict. Huge, right? If you feel safe, you're going to be more inclined to open to the other person. If you do not feel safe, your spirit's going to stay closed. And your mind may not be open either. Lads, you do not have to be right. You just have to be sincere when you are going to the river of emotion. Don't make me go to the river, Kevin. I don't have the vocabulary for the river of emotion. I could find a nugget, but I wouldn't even know what it was. And so, look, let's go down to the river and pray. I mean, hey, if you're not praying in conflict, then good luck to you. Good luck to you. And there's not much of that around. Every conversation has three characters in it. You, the other person, and the Holy Spirit. And when you are going into it, here is another. This isn't an Irish charm. This is a worldwide charm. When you are in conflict or in conversation with the one that you love or the one that you care about, can I encourage you with this thought? Jesus, give me ears to hear what I really need to hear right now. Beautiful thought. John 6:63, Jesus said, lads, the words that I speak to you, this is the Irish version. John 6:63. Go there. Fantastic verse. Lads, the words that I speak to you, they are spirit and they are life. The opposite to spirit is flesh. Jesus is talking to his disciples. He says the words that he speaks is spirit. They're full of the spirit and they're life words, life-giving words. When I stumbled across that verse for the first time, when it kind of, the penny dropped for me, I thought to myself, I have spoken so many words of flesh, the opposite of spirit, and so many words of death, the opposite of life, to do me a lifetime. And so I began to send flares to heaven, saying, God, please help me speak words of spirit and words of life. Help me speak words of spirit and words of life. Gang, it's good prayer. And it's not even long. Okay, so we're going to clarify the content. One way you do that, forgive me for not giving you an example, is, okay, so what I'm hearing you say is, and you might feel like a gomda, gombeen, ding dong, whatever. You're not. You're wiser than you've been in a while when you commit to clarifying content. So what I'm hearing you say is this. So can I tell you what I'm getting from you now? Can I tell you what I'm hearing you say? I mean, ask. Because they want you to get what they're saying. They want you to pick up what they're putting down. The research indicates that success in conflict can be predicted with a 94% accuracy rate by how a couple fights, by how they fight. And so what I'm teaching you is I'm teaching you how to fight. I want you to fight. You're going to fight. And if you don't fight, something's up in Denmark. And in your land as well. So we want to clarify the content. We want to reflect the feelings by looking for the gold nuggets of the emotion and guessing what that is. And then thirdly, lastly, basically, gang, so I don't keep you too long, is stay away from the 4 red flags. And I think I'm writing in red today. Stay away from the 4 heads of the apocalypse. Sorry, did you just say red flags of the heads of the apocalypse? Well, they may as well be the heads of the apocalypse for your conflict if you don't stay away from them. And what they are, gang, are, number 1, criticism. Criticism. Criticism is the first red flag that is being waved. You always make us late. You are never going to get it. Now, complaints are healthy. Criticism is cutting. There's a difference. And so you want to stay away from criticism. I think that is pretty self-explanatory. But if you've got any questions, I'm going to say, hey, write them in or message me. I'd be happy to support you during the season. Number 2, you want to stay away from defensiveness. Defensiveness. Stay away from defensiveness. Now, usually the stereotype for most of us lads is when we enter into conflict, the fists come up. No, I'm not mad. Etc. Right? We get defensive. Usually, typically, the lads get defensive. And what we want to do is not take stuff personally. We want to not take stuff personally. Listen to me. Here's another nugget. You ready? If ugly comes from the person that you are in conflict with. Did you just call my spouse ugly? No, I didn't call your spouse ugly. I just said if they deliver ugly to you, and I'm not talking about their looks, if they deliver ugly to you, if they're like vengeful, resentful, bitter, seething, and wounding with their words, then this is massive. What I'm about to say right now is massive. When ugly comes in your direction, it is not about you. It is about what's going on inside of them. But most of the time, we take it personally. Here's another prayer for you. If you can pray that God would help you create some margin in between you and the one that you love, so that you are able to receive what they are saying to you as really having to do with them, so that you're not taking everything personally, and that we talked to you today that there's a gap oftentimes in between your expectations of the one you love and their behavior, and you will put one of two things inside that gap. You will either believe the best or you will assume the worst. And oftentimes it doesn't even feel like a decision. When you pray for God to give you margin in your conflict so that you don't take things personally and you assume and you believe the best instead of assuming the worst, can you hear that? Can you hear the birds singing? I can hear the birds singing because the birds will be able to be heard when you and I stop taking everything personally, and when any sort of ugly comes from the one that you care about or the one that you love or the one that you are in conflict with, and you are able to understand that it is actually a revelation about what's going on underneath the surface inside of them. I'm not saying that you've no responsibility to respond to the conflict or whatever is hurting them or upsetting them or whatever. Of course you do. But the moment you stop taking things personally is the moment you are able to enter into their world without losing yours. It's the moment that you are able to love them deeper than before. I can hear the birds singing. Defensiveness. And the last thought on defensiveness, gang, and we could spend the whole time on this, is defensiveness only escalates the conflict. Defensiveness only escalates the conflict. It never de-escalates it. Only escalates conflict. Somebody wrote something about John Gottman. Melissa, thank you. John Gottman, any book by John Gottman will greatly help you learn to be wise in arguing. I don't know if John's an Irishman or not. Something tells me Gottman doesn't really sound Irish. Might even sound English. Anyway, I'm teaching ideas that are proven to be ways to fight fair and have a win-win. Oh, the win-win is a beautiful tool that we have as well. We'll get to that maybe another time. Let me give you number 3. Number 3 is contempt. Contempt. Number 3 is contempt. This is different than criticism. Contempt is toxic, gang. It's lethal to relationships. It kind of surfaces when we're diagnosing the issue. You are just always late because you're so immature and so irresponsible. It's like a character assault. Contempt. It's also kind of sarcastic. Way to go, Einstein. That was a real smart observation. And sometimes you're like, wait, like, are they serious? No, they're not serious. I'm the oldest of 6. Can I make a confession to you? I'm going to share one of my weaknesses. One of my weaknesses is that as the oldest and as the firstborn, usually you're the prankster. You're the prankster. So when the prankster gets pranked, first of all, normally the firstborns, they're the first ones to prank. And so in my life, for the most part, I've been the prankster. And so when I'm getting pranked or punked, sometimes I can't tell because I don't have a whole lot of practice. That is not an open invitation for you to prank me. However, sarcasm. I'm not trying to be legalistic with you, but I want to encourage you that it won't do well in the realm of conflict resolution and restoration and reconnection. And I think, contempt too can just show by just rolling your eyes and exhaling. I mean, everything you do and everything you say sends a message, right? And I don't want you to be overwhelmed and consumed with, everything sending a message. I just want you to be more intentional about what's the message you want to send. What do you want to send in this season of isolation, in this season of confinement to more of a degree than less, how do you want to be interpreted? Let's become more intentional about the messages that we want to send. Because when you are more intentional about the messages you want to send, more often than not, they will land on other people's runway instead of you having crash landings. And take it from me, who's had too many crash landings to care about. You want to have smooth landings. One of the ways you can do that is just becoming more intentional about the message that you're trying to send. And so the last one on this third major thought is, so we talked about clarifying the content, reflect the feelings, stay away from the 4 red flags, or the 4 heads of the apocalypse. And if you're joining us late, you're going to have to rewind to hear about that. But stay away from criticism, defensiveness, contempt, and number 4 is stonewalling. Stonewalling, Kevin? What are you talking about? You back to chucking bricks at each other's heads again? Like you did when you were growing up? No. Stonewalling is when you emotionally shut down. When you emotionally shut down and withdraw. It doesn't help the conflict. Now, withdrawal is not always bad. Sometimes withdrawal is really helpful. But what's important is that you have mutual agreement that withdrawal is the best next step, instead of you rejecting them, or at least sending a message of rejection and exiting stage left without mutual agreement. Now, you're shooting for mutual agreement. Sometimes you won't be able to get it, but and so you do the best you can. But emotionally shutting down, so being present physically, but emotionally you're gone. You're in the mountains, dreaming, thinking about something different. And do you know what, man? Can I share another confession? My beautiful bride, and she deserves a trophy. No, a trophy case, okay? She said to me before, you don't even have to say a word. Because that used to be my defense. I didn't even say anything. What? You don't have to say anything. 97% of your communication is nonverbal, man. So they have this beautiful intuitive gift. They can tell when you're not connected. They can tell when you're not fully present. The greatest gift that you can give to another is to be fully present with the best of you. Under stonewalling, it's not just about emotionally shutting down, but it kind of also has the idea of your heart getting hard or cold. Your heart getting hard or cold. That's concerning, or apathetic even, on its way to hard. So welcome, Rebecca. You want to keep your heart soft. Physically present, but emotionally. Men usually tend to get here faster. Their neck tenses, their jaw clenches. Oftentimes, the words that are said is, just tell me what to say then. Tell me what to say. We're talking about how to have a good fight. How to fight clean. Your Irish brothers teaching you how to fight. I want you to fight. I just want you to fight clean. I want you to fight well. I want you to get a win, and I want you to help the other person win in your conflict and in your fighting. If the lads tend to emotionally shut down quicker, generally, the girls tend to be more critical when the lads are quicker to shut down. And so they are the 4 thoughts under stonewalling. But today what we talked about is, if you want to have a good fight, you want to make sure, well, first of all, just understand that the men are trying to get the facts so they can fix, and the girls want to report with all the details so they can experience rapport. And every conversation is an opportunity for emotional connection. And I love that. I love that about how the ladies are wired. So understand the differences. And then as you go in, you want to clarify the content. So what I'm hearing you say is this. So can I tell you what I'm picking up right now for you? And frankly, you don't even have to wait for them to say that to you. You can ask them, will you tell me what you're hearing from me right now? Will you tell me what you just heard from me? Because if you notice, and you're paying attention to facial expressions and body language and all the rest, sometimes the intent for what you are saying sometimes can have a very different physiological response than the one that you're speaking to. And so I just want to help you clarify that. Don't ignore it. Like if their body language is saying something totally different to you than what you were hoping to the reaction you were hoping to get, then I'm wanting to say, go after that. Go after that, Kevin. You're telling me to jump into the fire. No, I'm not telling you to jump into the fire. I'm telling you that if you face it, you will have it be addressed, obviously faster, and frankly, you will know that your words are having the effect that you want them to have. Tell me what you just heard me say there, will you? And that's not just because you think they're not listening at all to you. It's because you want to make sure that you're on the same page. It's because you want to make sure that you're landing on their runway. And you want to make sure that they're picking up what you are putting down. Reflect the feelings. Sounds like you feel sad. No, I don't feel sad. Mad. Oh. There's a difference then, isn't there? In how you interpret everything else that's coming. They're angry right now. Okay. They're sad right now. Okay. It's asking different things from us. Reflect the feeling. Gold nuggets, there's a river between you and the person that you're having conflict with. And in that riverbed, the gold nuggets are the emotions. We are not trained to communicate emotionally for the most part. The girls beat the lads to the moon and back. But let me say this to you. If you are listening, brother, right now, you are a brilliant communicator. You're a brilliant communicator. All you need is practice. And if you take what I'm giving to you now and you practice it, you will realize the brilliant communicator that you are. You see, we've been modeled silence. We've been modeled passivity. We've been modeled withdrawal. We've been told that's for the women, it's not for the lads. It's time we got modeled something different. You're a brilliant communicator. So get equipped with the tools and the skills that you need and start practicing them and watch your relationships transform. Ladies, thank you for letting me address the lads. I'm not saying, girls, you don't need any help either. We both do. The lads and the ladies need as much support and help that we can get. The third one was stay away from the 4 red flags that say danger, danger, and they are criticism, defensiveness, contempt, and stonewalling. And if you want a little bit more detail on that, press rewind and you'll get all you can that'll fill your wagon. We're going to have conflict. Avoidance of conflict is not the goal, gang. But having clean conflict, where connection can actually happen. Beautiful. You know, there's a song, I wish I could share it right here, but I know Facebook will kick me off if I do. I want you to go find this song called Love is Not a Fight. You see, this fella, his name is Warren Barfield. I'll share this and I'm done. He was married to a lady. I think he's still married to the lady. Hope he's still married to the lady. After I tell you the story, you might be wondering how on earth is she still married to the lady? um, Warren Barfield. Am I still here? No, I'm still alive. Yes, okay. He is married to a lady who cares what way the pile on the carpet is facing. She doesn't just care that the carpet's clean, but you know when you vacuum, when you hoover, the pile kind of goes a certain direction. She cares what direction it's going. So one Friday evening, he had the lads over, and he gave them some bickies or biscuits or cookies, and and um, and he didn't give them any napkins or any plates to put them on. And his wife came downstairs, and she came around the corner, and she saw that they didn't have anything, and she looked at her husband. Now, if you, well, I'm just going to assume you know what it means to be disciplined by a woman's eyes. And let's just say that she disciplined him with her eyes. And in his mind, he thought to himself, oh no, you didn't. Not in front of my boys. And so he took a biscuit and he snapped it, and the crumbs fell on the floor. And bless her heart, she didn't say a word. She just turned around and went up the stairs. And he looked at the lads. I know, Paula, it's hard to translate all the time, isn't it? He said, lads, I need to go sort this. I need to go address this. And I think our lads' night is probably going to end early. So he sends them packing, and he goes up the stairs, and he goes into the bedroom. He goes into the bathroom, and it's a little bit bigger bathroom, just and everything in him wanted to bail. Everything in him wanted to bolt. And it was pretty dark. I mean, the conflict was pretty dark. It was pretty difficult. It was pretty dark. And he said this prayer. He said, Jesus, send angels to guard the door. Don't let me leave. And he said, as I stayed there, I tried to listen and understand and apologize and own, validate and express. He said, we broke through the darkness and the light dawned. And it wasn't because it took him all night till the sunrise. Please. But if you've been in a relationship any length of time, you've had those dark tunnels. Times where you just wanted to bail. Something inside you said, don't. Kids, stay. They're worth it. You're worth it. Warren Barfield, after that conflict, sat down and wrote a song that love is not a fight, but it's something worth fighting for. He says, love is not a place to come and go as you please. It's a house we enter in and commit to never leave. So lock the door behind you. Throw away the key. We'll figure it out together, even if it brings us to our knees. Love is the answer in the middle of the storm. Can I encourage you to go love well today? Take these thoughts, take one, just take one, and implement it. it's the most difficult thing for the world to do is just implement the truth that they are receiving. Take one, practice it, and then take another and add it. Don't allow it to overwhelm you. Watch what God will do in helping you fight clean. And if you mess it up, you just blame your Irish brother. Tell him to come find me. Hey, I am so grateful for the privilege to get to do this. To see the Holy Spirit of God turn light bulbs on in people's hearts and minds. Bring healing to the places in their lives that need healing so that they can live freer than ever before. Love deeper than ever before. Lead more authentically than they were ever able to in the past. If we can help you at all, we have a beautiful team of counselors and coaches that counsel and coach by phone, by video, and in office. We would be delighted to come alongside you or jump in the trenches of your life and help you dodge the bullets that are trying to take you out so that you can live the abundant life that Jesus came to give to you. You should have seen, if you are not Grammy for any other social media outlet, you'll see a ticker kind of going across the bottom that says, hey, jump into our free Live, Love, Lead with your Irish brother. Jump into that, it's free. And you'll get goodies in there 4 times a day just to help you have your head where it needs to be so that you can be all that you've been called to be. And these lives will not continue daily. Well, they're always daily when they happen, right? Because I'm a daily. But they won't continue to be every day. And so if this has been good for you, if you've felt value from this, sprinkle the love amongst your friends and your community. Send this to others. Share it. We want to bless as many as we can right now in this season. We need it. We need support. We need encouragement. We need to make sure our heads are staying screwed on straight. Take one thought. Take massive, imperfect action. And I will look forward to seeing you and supporting you down the road. In the meantime, you live free and you love well. And we will talk to you soon. All right?